here 2 pi divided by pi over 3. Again, it's like multiplying by the reciprocal, 3 over pi. The pi's cancel, giving us 6. Here in this one, 2 pi divided by the multiplier in front, the coefficient 5. Doesn't simplify, so 2 pi over 5. And then finally here, 2 pi divided by, here the multiplier in front is 1 over 7. Multiply by the reciprocal, and you get 14 pi. And now, in each of these cases, if you were looking to sketch, so let's say we come back to this. The sketch of this, now we're looking at a cosine. So let's say just the cosine of pi over 3x. If that's what we were looking to sketch, our period is 6. So my first point is 6. Cut that in half. 3 halves. And again, I'm counting by 3 halves. So here's 1 3/2. 2 3/2 is 6 halves. 3 3/2 is 9 halves. And then 12 halves. So I'm, again, working in these fractional parts. My max and mins haven't changed. And so when I sketch this, I'm now dealing with cosine. So my first critical point on a cosine is a what? Max, min, or midline? Max. So here's max, then the next one's midline, then minimum, then midline, then maximum. So that would be my sketch of that graph. Even if I have problems that are challenging, and so this is where, again, the way I treat this is different than what some other teachers might do next year. That is, if you have a period that's a challenging fraction to work with, this still works pretty easily. Because again, let's just say we're dealing with cosine of just this 5x here. Okay, so when you calculate your period, you're going to get 2 pi over 5. And that's still fine. If you just mark 2 pi over 5, cut that in half. Cutting it in half, it becomes 2 pi over 10, right? Or pi over 5. But when you cut this in half, you have 2 pi over 10. So half of that is pi over 10, 2 pi over 10, 3 pi over 10, 4 pi over 10. You're still able to count in those fractional parts. You have your max at 1, your min at -1, and you do the same process here. Because it's a cosine, your first critical point is maximum, then midline, minimum, midline, maximum. And you can get your sketch of this really quick just by following those rules of fractional parts.